Hello everybody, ArashiYT here, your coach of the Martini Eiscues, bringing you the draft analysis for the BBL Season 5 Silvally League. So let me actually explain why it's called the Silvally League and what the rules are before we're actually going to the draft itself. So last season, Season 4, there was a small possibility that we could have been promoted to the majors of the BBL, the highest league of the BBL. But unfortunately, because of applications and such, we still are in the minors league of the BBL, which is now renamed Silvally, and the majors league has been renamed Ariados. And there are 3 leagues this season for the BBL. So we have the Ariados League, the Silvally League and the Type 0 League. So we're in the second division of total 3 divisions of the BBL, which is a great thing. The BBL is growing, there are more coaches out there. In Division 1, the highest league of the BBL right now, there are like ultra players, 6 feet hacks. There are a lot of good players out there. So I highly suggest that if one of these guys are also uploading their matches, because it's not upload required, these leagues, I will highly suggest them to, join the BBL Discord and join the action by following the docs, following the matches, because there are so many great talents in the BBL League this season. But we're still in the minors, now renamed Silvally, so we're not only aiming for promotion this season, we're also trying to not get relegated to the 3rd division. So it's going to be more higher stakes this season in the BBL, which I'm still trying to get all my matches uploaded on the channel, but I'm probably going to be like post commentary because I have a lot of other stuff going around in my life at the moment. So with that being said, that's like the introduction for this season of the BBL. Let's actually talk about the rules. So for you guys who don't know, BBL is still an Ubers league, and a points league. So you have like 120 total points budget, and 41 of those points you spend on Ubers, and the rest of the points you spend to complete your team. 10 to 12 Pokemon, no months less or more. Only 1 Arceus can be drafted. I can already spoil you, I don't have Arceus drafted, so we can just move on. 5 free agency picks. Free agencies are counted based on pickups, not on drops. No baton passing, intentional speed stat boosting, Mega Evolve whenever, just hold Mega Stone. National Dex DLC tier. So that means that this season we won't be using moves like Hidden Power, we won't be using moves like Pursuit, but we are using all of the mons that are available in the decks, if that makes any sense. No C moves, Gigantamax or Dynamax, so unreleased abilities such as Libero, Cinder A, Sandbrush, Dracofish, etc. are allowed, and the standard Uber clauses such as Moody, Innovation, etc. So the standard stuff. And again, the bottom 3 record swap with minus top 2. Okay, I think this is like still old rules, but I think it's like I guess it's like the 3 lower teams for this division will also relegate, just like how the last season worked with the elite and minors. But I don't know that. We just have to avoid being at the bottom 3 teams for this season, and it's pretty much like last season, but with the minor changes that I just mentioned before. Alright, so with that being said, I'm now going to over my team. I didn't have the team posted here because I want to spoil you. I don't want to spoil you guys this season, I want to type them in as we made our draft. But I can already put in the first 2 months that I drafted for this season, because they're favorites of mine right now and I had so much fun using them last season. So let's just put them both up on screen right now, and those are Blaziken with Speed Boost and Darkrai, the 2 Ubers that I've used last season and used perfectly well, because they're both offensive mons and I like playing offensively. My playstyle is offensively, sometimes hyper offensive, because it's just who I am. I don't like to play out stall, I don't like to hazard stock, anything like that. I just like pure hyper offensive. And Darkrai and Blaziken both do that very well. Blaziken, of course, with speed boost, boosting up that speed, and then with that attack stat and the move pool that Blaziken has, Blaziken can use so much that it can actually wreck sometimes teams all on its own. And I like to use the expert belt set because of that extra super effectiveness that Blaziken can get because of his high and wide move pool. And Darkrai, same with Blaziken, but then on the special attacking side and at speed. Put a choice specs or a life orb on this thing and it can wreak havoc. And I had so much fun using these two Ubers mons last season that I want to use them again for this season. But the rest of the team, besides these two, are completely new. So no Zapdos, no Suicune. We have a whole new roster. Some old favorites of mine, some new mons that I want to try out, some mons that I haven't even used but nobody has even used before. And we'll be diving into that in a moment. But let's go to the third mon that we picked. Because so, this season we didn't have Suicune. I thought about picking Suicune this season, but I think it got taken away before I could actually take the opportunity to pick it. So we're going to go to Tapafini. Now Tapafini is a little bit more defensive, just like Suicune. Added with the fairy typing, which can be very useful. No C moves this season, so that makes it a little bit less viable in some sense, but Tapafini does what it needs to do, and that's take some hits, and with some of the move pools that it has, it can actually do a lot more. And again, like hidden power, it's not, you know, available, and it's going to be very different because I have to take a look at the moves that are banned when I build my team, just to make sure I don't make the mistake of putting in a move that is banned for this season. So that's going to be very, very new for me. But Tapafini, you know, does what it needs to do. It's got like a good variety of move pool right here, and it's just there to take some hits, but also to deal some hits. You know, I mean, the defense and special defense there with 115 and 130 and the HP of 70, which is decent. It can do what it needed to do. So, you know, even though we didn't have Suicune this season, I think Tapafini can actually fill in that position very well for us. So next off, we're going to go to a mon that I don't know what it can do. A lot of people don't know what it can do. And that's, and that's Sarut. So Sarut, sadly no sprite here, but we have a sprite there, so you can actually see what it looks like, or Google it. But Sarut is a dark grass type, which got released with the, well, it didn't got released right away, right? It still needs to be released, but it's a new mon. I wanted a grass type. Last season we had, which grass type did we? Oh, we had Jumpluff. But this season we're gonna rock out with Sarut. Also gives us another dark type, so that's a little bit iffy because we already had Darkrai. But, you know, Sarut was a mon that I saw, and I wanted a good grass type this season, and a lot of the grass types that I want didn't work well with the team that I wanted to draft for the rest of this season, for my taste. So I saw Sarut and I was like, shall I pick it? Nobody has used it before. I can be the first one this season in this league to use it. And that actually drove me to actually use this thing. Because I like to innovate, I like to experiment, and Sarut is a new mon. So there's a lot to experiment here with Sarut. And it gets a good move pool. I checked out some of the move pool that it got. And it gets like Dark Lariat, Crunch, it gets Close Combat, it gets a good Grass move with Bullet Seed. I think it gets like a Wood Hammer? Does it get Wood Hammer? It doesn't get Wood Hammer. Oh, I thought it also got Wood Hammer. If it got Wood Hammer, it would have been even better. So you probably are gonna rock out with like Seed Bomb, maybe Darkest Lariat. Darkest Lariat is better than Crunch. You can add Close Combat in there maybe for extra coverage. Acrobatics is actually very good. for fighting types. I could use like a move. Does it get like a move with accuracy, like a low accuracy? Maybe power whip. Oh, it gets power whip. Ah, so let's say you get power whip, and let's say you want the blunder policy. If the holder misses out during its speed race with 2 stages, so you can do that. And then you also give it like acrobatics and some other moves. Like you can use power whip. Oh, my eye. Yeah, my eye. You can use power whip. And then you're like, if I miss, blunder policy will affect, boom, +2 in speed. If I hit, boom, that's gonna do massive damage. For instance, this one could be potentially fun to use, and I am going to try my best to actually use it because it's my only grass type this season, right? So I probably have to going to use it when time comes, because it being the only grass type, if my opponent doesn't like grass types that much, Sarut is probably the one that I have to go for. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. It's a new mon, and I hope I can actually make it work so that, you know, I can be the first one to have used this thing, and then maybe people are like, oh well, we're gonna take example from Arashi how to use this thing in the future. That would be very fun. Again, I like to innovate, and I think Luxio also has it in the Ariados division. So some thing about Sarut makes the Dutch people wild, I guess. Alright, let's go to the next mon, because we've talked about Sarut for enough. So the next mon is a mega, our mega for this season, because megas are allowed, in case I forgot to mention that. But we're gonna go for Mega Aerodactyl. I think I've used Mega Aerodactyl in the PGP, and I think I've used it in the past before. And Mega Aerodactyl is just an amazing mega. Its speed is out of this world, its attack is out of this world. Again, very hyper offensive mon Aerodactyl. Defenses are also very decent. Tough claws, very good ability. And the move pool that Mega Aerodactyl gets is again out of this world. So I think it's the perfect mega, at least for this team. I am getting a little bit, if I look at my team, oh, it actually works very well actually. I was thinking maybe of ice or electric type weaknesses, well at least electric type weaknesses alone. But I think Mega Aerodactyl can actually work out well. It's one of the most hyper offensive megas out there, and I'm going to try to make it work. And not much can be said about Mega Aerodactyl. It's there to wreak havoc, and it's there to deal as much damage as possible and be the fastest thing on the field. So let's just go on to the next mon. I don't want this draft analysis video to be over 30 minutes, so we're gonna try our best. But the next mon is also a great favorite of mine, probably my favorite mon from Gen 6. Gudra. I just like Gudra. Gudra is such an amazing... Maybe Gudra is my favorite dragon type at this moment, because me having used it that much in draft leagues in general, but Gudra tanks hits. It's there to tank hits with that special defensive, but you can also use it offensively. I've used Gudra offensively in the past, and it works so well. Put a choice specs on that thing, and it can actually deal a lot of damage. Its abilities are pretty good. It has Sap Zipper, which is something you can most of the time can use, especially if your team is weak against grass, which I think my team is pretty much weak against grass in general. Hydration, you don't see that very often. It's more like Gooey or Sap Zipper that you're gonna run with Gudra. You can also run an Assault Vest Gudra set to make it even more bulkier, so that it can even tank more hits. And then with the move pool that it has, it can also deal out damage while tanking those hits. Gudra is an amazing mon. I love it. Gudra is one of those mons I say that if you're new to Draft League and you want a good dragon type to start out with Draft Leagues, I think Gudra is a good pick. How much points was Gudra in this league? Because if it's like a point-based Draft League that you play, Gudra is also most of the time a good mon. Yeah, 12 points. It's for that points, Gudra is an amazing dragon type, especially if you start out with Draft League. So I'm very happy that we got Gudra in this team. Let's actually go to import-export, so we can actually, because apparently we can't put more than 6 mons in this, so we're just gonna do it like this. And the next mon that we have picked is also a fan favorite. I can just do this, and that's Metagross. I think it works like this, right? There we go. So Metagross, again, is also a fan favorite of mine. I've used Metagross so much. in 2018 and 19 in draft leagues. And that's because it's the best of both worlds. Its defense and HP are pretty rock solid, but its attack of 135 makes this thing an absolute monster. And it gets so many hard-hitting moves, a variety of hard-hitting moves. Like, it also gets build a punch, by the way, priority, very important. But it gets so much, like Meteor Mash, of course. It gets, this thing also doesn't get Wood Hammer. Why doesn't these Pokemon get Wood Hammer? Give them Wood Hammer. Does it get Power Whip? It doesn't get Power Whip, but it gets like a lot of the, it gets Thunder Punch. It doesn't get Ice Punch. Wow. Wow. Amazing. Oh, it does get Ice Punch. I'm just very bad with my alphabets. But it gets a lot of hard-hitting moves, and also a lot of variety of typings when it comes to hard-hitting moves. And Metagross you can also work out defensively, so put an Assault Vest on this thing as well, and put like Stealth Rocks on it, so that you know you can surprise your opponent, which I did in the past accidentally. I think which league was that? Was it the IBA? I think it was the IBA. I'm not sure, but I've accidentally put Stealth Rocks on my Assault Vest Metagross, and I think it was Liv who knocked me off, and then I was like, alright, well, I'm just gonna use Stealth Rocks right now, and it was one of my favorite moments in draft leagues. But Metagross is a mon I'm familiar with. I know how to run it just with Gudra, and it's a mon that I'm very happy with this team, because we needed a good steel type, and Metagross fits that very well. Alright, so after all of these mons, so from Blaziken to Metagross, we've used like mons with 11 points or more. So now we're going to get to the lower tier mons. My favorite tiers. Because you know me, I love to take lower tier mons, and I like to, you know, work around with them, stretching a little bit out, put it on draft, and make gold with it. That's what I do. That's what I do. So let's go to the first one. Well, the first one is not really a lower tier mon, but it did cost 7 points. So let's just go to here, and that's, I have to type it very well, Frostless. Now Frostless, I wanted a good ice type with a good speed, and I saw Frostless and I was like, alright, does that work with the Pokemon that I want to get later on? Because I made a promise to myself that I wanted to have one Pokemon drafted, which was a 1-point Pokemon, because I wanted to use it, even though I hate it with all my guts, but I wanted to use it so that I can at least say, hey, I've used it in Draft League. So I did the maths, and Frostless was doable. So here we have Frostless. Ice Ghost type, we also didn't have a Ghost type in the team yet, so it works around with that as well. Its speed is amazing, but the rest is kind of on par with each other, so we have to deal with that. But you know, it gets a lot of, you know, gimmicky stuff that we can actually do. It gets Destiny Bond, Pain Split. It also gets Poltergeist, a new move. Fails if the target has no health out. But it is physical, but we can perhaps use, because physical and special are on par, so we could rock out with a physical Frostless next season. I like it. But Frostless, it can also, you know, set up spikes. It can, you know, what's triple axle? Hits 3 times, each hit can miss, but power rise it. Yo, physical Frostless might be a thing this season. Holy effing hell. Again, I've been a little bit out of draft leagues and competitive for a few months, so because I was not like a big fan of the Pokemon DLC, the new DLC as such. But this makes it a little bit more interesting. This makes it a little bit. This is like one of the Pokemon that I'm not sure how I'm gonna use it, not sure if I'm going to use it correctly, but it could turn out to be a fan favorite for this season. I'm sure of it. This could be fun. Alright, this could be fun. Alright, now we're gonna get into the juicy bit. So I'm just gonna type it in. I really wanted a Pokemon that was a bug poison type, or one of the two. So I look at the points, and I saw one that I wanted to use for draft leagues for quite a while, which is Ariados. Ariados, I have to scroll back every time. Ariados is not a good mon by drafting standards, but it gets the ability Sniper, which could make this thing a threat. Swarm is also something you could use, but I would most likely go with Sniper. And it does get Baton Pass. Now, again, multiple stats are banned, but if my corrections are correct, yes, it does get Swords Dance. So, I could potentially use Swords Dance with Baton Pass and make that work. It gets like a lot of good bug type moves, which is very good for a bug type. So it gets like Leech Life, it gets like Mega Horn, it also gets like Lunge. Infestation, because it's not physical, could also work if I really want to be that guy that wants to stall out or, you know, will down my opponent. It gets Sticky Webs, which is also could be also very useful. I did draft it quite a fast team, but there's also a lot of mons that are not that fast, which could potentially be getting use of that Sticky Webs there. It gets Sucker Punch, it gets Shadow Sneak, it gets a lot of good moves. Pursuit, but we're not gonna use Pursuit anymore, so I really need to learn that. It also gets Curse. You can use Curse with Baton Pass, but it gets Curse if you really want to make this thing work, because it's already slow as it is. So you could Curse up, maybe Sucker Punch there. It gets a lot of good moves. Poison Jab, it gets Night Slash or Night Slash with the Sniper, with what was that move which makes critical hits? Was it Goggles? No, that's something else. The item that boosts your critical hitness. You can do something with that with it. So Ariados, I wanted to use it for a very long time because of the move pool, but every time I had a plan to use it, the points doesn't add up, or I had another bug or poison type, so getting another one would be kind of redundant to my whole team. But now we're actually going to use it because we had an opportunity to use it. So now we're gonna go to a mon that I wasn't very happy with drafted, but we had to because we didn't have an electric type. So we get Luxio. So we got the evolution of Shinx, but not Luxray itself. We get Luxio. Now Luxio, it's not that great, but it does get the ability to use Intimidate and Guts, which are two of the best abilities for competitive, at least in draft format. At least Intimidate is, so see me using Intimidate probably 9 of the 10 times that I'm going to bring this thing. It gives us a Pokemon with a lot of the Fang moves, so Fire Fang, Ice Fang. It gets the opportunity to use Volt Switch, even though you're probably not going to use it. It does get Wild Charge, which I could maybe put a Choice Band thing on this thing and then try to do as much as possible. Yeah, in Crunch, it gets a lot of good moves. Psychic Fangs, it gets a lot of good moves. Play Rough, it really does has a good offensive move set if you look at this. But I don't know how much I'm going to use this thing, because I really wanted an electric type just for coverage, and I saw Luxio and I was like, you know what, Luxio looks fun. Let's just draft it. It's 1 point, because at this point I only had 3 points left, and I did not want to spend them all on one Pokemon with 3 points. I wanted to spend them all on 1 point tier mons, because you know me, I like to have fun and experiment. So Luxio is here. Don't really know what to say. It's probably this is a Pokemon that I could maybe trade off if I need to, if I really need to. But we have it right now, and it's not a bad Pokemon in terms of design. I really like Luxio. I really like it. But let's go to the two last mons. The two last mons, both 1-tier Pokemon. So the first one I'm really hyped to use. Maybe I'm really hyped to use. The next one I'm really hyped to use. We're gonna use Cubone. Yes, you heard me right. We're gonna have Cubone in an Ubers League. We're gonna have Cubone in an Ubers League. I do want to check out Cubone on Smogon. Hello, because did Smogon made a mistake? Let me actually take a look. Oh no. It didn't. It didn't. Okay, I thought it was 100 defense, but it's 95 defense. That's still pretty good. 95 defense is still pretty good. Give it a tick club. There you go. Its attack is doubled. So almost 200. So that's a lot of attack for this little thing. Its speed is not that great. Absolutely not. But I needed a ground type. At this point I didn't have drafted a ground type, which was a big mistake of mine. I should have went for a ground type around the time that I picked Frostless. That was the biggest mistake. And again, this could be a thing that maybe I will trade Luxio for maybe Frostless for a better ground type in the future. I don't know yet. But I saw Cubone and I was like, shall I be that guy that just draft Cubone in a Uber League? Its abilities, I mean, Rockhead, it only gets double edge when it comes to like, yeah, it gets double edge. It doesn't get anything else. This thing got like head charge or something like that. Whew. But it doesn't have the best abilities. Battle armor could be fun, just no crits. Hey, screw you, hex gods. You can't be critted. Lightning Rod is mostly the thing you see, even though it's a ground type, and its special attack is not that great. So I will probably go with Rockhead just so that I can run double edge probably. But we're gonna try to use Cubone, and this is a promise I'm going to make for you guys right now. I am going to bring Cubone in a match at some point. I am going to bring Cubone in a match. It's not like, oh, I drafted Cubone, but then I'm not gonna use it at all. That's not my style. You know me. I've used Jump Bluff in the past. I've used Metagross in the past. I've used Drift Limb and all other mons that were considered bad in the past because I made that promise. So I'm going to use that with Cubone. Cubone is going to be brought. Cubone is going to be brought. And I'm going to try my best to get at least 2 kills with Cubone. I'm going to try my best to get 2 kills with Cubone. Because Cubone is just the best. I love Cubone. Cubone is such an cute little creature there. But now we're gonna go to the mon that I hate. I said it at the beginning. I made a promise to myself like, hey, I want to draft this mon because I really hate this mon, but I at least want to use it so that it can even either prove me wrong or I've used it and then I can be like, hey, I've used it, it's bad. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and I drafted Castform. I drafted Castform because, again, I really hate this mod. I despise its design. I hate its ability of changing weathers because it only gave him 3 forms. If they have given them more, if they have given Castform more forms, which would have made this Pokemon a little bit more, you know, interesting because it works like an Eevee. You can, but then it's not like a Flareon, Jolteon. It's just one mon. It could have made this thing a lot more interesting, but it only gets like the Rain form, the Sun form, and the Ice form. Why doesn't it give them the Sand form? I have no idea. With Psychic Terrain, Electric Terrain, you could have made this thing even better by giving it more forms. They didn't do that. Like, I probably hate this thing mostly because there's a lot of more potential in there, but they didn't give it to them. Should I give Castform to blame them and not the people that are making the designs? No, because look at the design itself. Like, look at the basic design. It's ugly. Ugh, I hate it. But I'm also the kind of guy like, you don't know if something is bad if you have tried it out for yourself. It works with food, it also works with Pokemon. So I drafted Castform, and again with just like Cubone, because I'm a man of my promise, I will use Castform where I need it. I'm gonna try my best to make this thing work. If I can make this thing work, then I deserve all the credits in the world. No, I'm just gonna try my best to make this thing work. It does get defog, so it could be potentially a good defog user if I don't want to have defog on any of the other Pokemon that get defog in my team. It has a good move pool. I have to give him that. with Skull, Shadow Ball, it gets Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, it gets a lot of good special attacking moves, because I don't think you're gonna use like you could potentially use an offensive physical Castform with moves like Body Slam, and it also gets Double Edge, it gets Avalanche, so you can put Hill there as well to make it more of a physical ice Castform here. I'm gonna try my best, but yeah, the main reason why I drafted this month is I wanted to use it because I hate it so much, but I want it at least to prove to me that it can be useful. And that's the team for this season. I drafted the full team of 12 because at least then it gives me a lot more choices to use mons. So yeah, we have Blaziken with Speed Boost, we have Darkrai, Tapafini, Sarut, Mega Aerodactyl, Gudra, Metagross, Frostless, Ariados, Luxio, Cubone, and Castform. Now let me guys know which of these mons is your favorite from this team, which of these mons do you think is going to do well, which of these mons is going to do not well, and let me guys know how hyped you are for this season of the BBL. Again, I will leave links in the description below that will bring you guys to the Discord, bring you guys to the Twitter page of the BBL, and whoa, voice crack. And yeah, I am going to try my best to get all of the matches done and upload them on the channel because I did that last season and I want to do that this season as well. And the next match, the first match of this season, which will be next week, I'm planning to upload this on the 13th of July, maybe earlier, maybe a little bit later, but next week we'll be facing Flame Horizon of the Minnesota Lycanrocs for week 1, and that's gonna be one hell of a match. I looked at his team, I will not spoil it, just in case he wants to upload his own draft analysis or matches to the channel, but that's going to be a fun match as well. So I need to get back in the groove, I need to get back at team building, and we're gonna try our best to reach playoffs again, because last season we reached playoffs, we were so close to getting into the finals, and I'm gonna try my best. Slick Panther, who actually beat me last season and promoted after becoming champion, actually drafted Darkrai in the Arceus division, so the highest division. So I see you there, Slick Panther, I see you there. So that concludes the draft analysis. I don't know how long I've been talking here, but if you did enjoy this, don't forget to hit a like, comment, share this video with others, slash the subscribe button down below and hit the bell icon because I get notified every time I upload a video, and that's sincerely appreciated. I'm going to end this video over here and I will see you guys next time.